Hi guys, welcome back to episode DB Cars, and today's episode I'll be showing you guys GetGo Volkswagen T-Cross. So let's dive straight to this video right now. Alright then, so here is guys the Volkswagen T-Cross from GetGo itself. So basically I'll be running through you guys the damages for this vehicle that's any before I show you guys the trunk space as well as the interior itself. So let me just start off with the vehicle itself. So basically if you guys didn't know, this is the Volkswagen T-Cross, one of the, in my opinion, looks slightly bigger than the Suzuki Ignis, which I already reviewed on my channel itself. So that's one thing to take note itself. But okay, if talking about the damages wise for the vehicle itself, starting from the front, there's no windscreen chip for the vehicle at the moment, which is quite good. Moving on to the front of the bumper, also no damage which I can observe, which is another good thing for this vehicle itself. Let's check the front splitter, which is usually the most vehicle damage would usually be, and same thing, a good thing, there's no damages to it either itself. Unfortunately, the front rims looks to be quite dirty itself, so that's an unfortunate thing. But speaking of the driver's side itself, there's no obvious damage, which is another good thing for this vehicle itself. Moving along to the back itself, also got the, unfortunately the rear bumper look to be quite dirty itself, so that's one downside. That's quite dirty, so but it can be cleaned with, maybe with if let's say team were to clean the vehicle, maybe it would look much nicer itself. But other than that, for suspension wise, no obvious damage to the vehicle, which is a good thing for the rear. Lastly, the passenger side. There isn't any other obvious damage which I can also observe for this vehicle itself, which is a good thing as well. Alright, let me just get back to telling you guys more about this vehicle itself. So basically, in terms of the T-Cross itself, if I remember correctly, this is technically based off the Volkswagen Polo, if I'm not wrong, or the Golf. I can't be wrong, but I'll probably put on right down below here what is it based off itself lah. So yeah, when this vehicle first appeared, I was quite shocked that GetGo actually added in this vehicle itself, which is very interesting because the how do I say it, the wheel itself, if you look closely inside right there, is based off the newer generation of Volkswagen, while the infotainment screen looks to be based off the Polo, which I reviewed on Share itself. But overall wise, if I'm not wrong, this is one of the newer generation of Volkswagen that GetGo is adding to the fleet itself lah. Other than that, yeah, to be honest, I don't really have much to say, but from perspective wise, definitely much bigger than the Ignis itself, with the Ignis being the smallest vehicle in GetGo fleet lah. So yeah, and that, let me just show you guys the trunk space for the T-Cross. Alright then, now let me just show you guys the trunk capacity for the T-Cross itself. So to access it, you just need to locate this button right down below the Volkswagen emblem and just press on it. Once you press on it, the trunk will unlatch, and this is basically what you're being greeted with itself. I'll probably put on screen how much trunk capacity this vehicle has itself. So if you want to see, you want to judge how much trunk space you could put in the rear of the T-Cross. This is definitely, I think if I would guess, probably you can put 5 more carry-on suitcases in the rear of the vehicle itself, provided you remove this trunk cover itself. But if let's say you want to have a smooth flooring when you load your stuff through, you could actually just raise this up right here and just raise it to the highest point, and that you got even more. You got one good thing is at least you got somewhat of a smooth flooring itself. But the downside is your the option to put taller items has been reduced itself, because with this at the highest position, you can't really put tall stuff in the vehicle itself. So that's one thing you got to take note. And that you got some anchoring points on all 4 sides of the vehicle if you want to. But if not, let's say this is still not enough, you could actually hold down the rear seat via pulling on this latch, and the seat will drop down. Same goes for the other side, the seat will drop down as well, and you have even more space. I will probably put on screen right now how much this vehicle has with this rear seat up as well as the rear seat down. So yeah, and that's all. It's very simple and really not much to talk about the trunk capacity for the T-Cross itself. To close it up, just grab on any part of the vehicle itself and it will just close it down, and just that itself. So yeah, now let me just show you guys the rear. Oh yeah, and before I show you guys the rear, if you are wondering how to open up the fuel filter door for the T-Cross itself, just press on it and the door will open up. So there isn't any button to do so itself. So if you're wondering whether there's a button, no, there isn't. So yeah, that's that. So let me just show you guys the rear of the vehicle. Alright then, now let me just show you guys the rear for the T-Cross itself. So stepping right into the vehicle itself, this is basically what you're being greeted with itself. I would say the interior, the space wise is quite, so this is a compact car itself, and even though it's slightly bigger than the Ignis Hybrid, space wise, based according to this last person sitting in position, I got about a fist of legroom space wise, which is not too bad. And you also got storage space wise right here. Headroom space wise is also not too bad, about a fist of headroom space wise for this vehicle, which is not too bad as well. So that's a plus point. Only downside is you got this huge air transmission tunnel right here itself, where you got two years where if you were to be sitting in the center, it will definitely be a bit of a squeeze itself lah. So that's one thing you got to take note, but I'll show you guys later on how does it feel like to sit in the center itself. But in the center you do get two USB Type-C charging port, a small storage space right here if you want to put your stuff. Other than that, nothing else in the vehicle itself. But from the looks of it, yeah, you could actually slide the seat forward if you want more cargo capacity, or slide it back if you want lesser cargo capacity and more legroom space, right? If let's say this was slide more forward itself. Alright, now let me just show you guys how does it feel like to sit in the center. Well, sitting in the center wise, it definitely depends on how the front people adjust their seat itself. But headroom space wise is a bit reduced itself, because you definitely know that you're sitting in the center when there's been a reduce in the headroom space wise for the vehicle itself. But other than that, it's still not too bad. Like this been adjusted to my driving position, so it's not that bad. About a fist of legroom space wise on both sides. But other than that, I think it's not too bad for the rear comfort wise for the rear comfort wise for the T-Cross itself. Also, if you're wondering where the ISO fixing point is, it is right here itself, quite clearly shown, so it's easier for people that have child seat. You want to plug it in, you can just plug it in without any issue itself. So yeah, and that, let me just show you guys the front of the vehicle right now. So this is how the dashboard looks like for the T-Cross, and anyone wondering itself. So yeah, and that, let me just show you guys the front right now. Alright then, now let me just show you guys the interior for the VW T-Cross itself. So basically, this is how the dashboard looks like for the T-Cross itself. Very similar to the Volkswagen Polo, and a bit of the Golf at the same time, with the steering wheel and the infotainment, which I just now mentioned about itself. But let me just start off with the storage space you get for this vehicle itself. Start out with this storage space right here, which you got a decent size one. Unfortunately, you can't really put much itself. Like if I will have my more bag, I think I'm able to put it entirely inside itself. And that's about it for the storage space for this vehicle itself lah. Moving on, you got another storage space right down below here if you put your stuff. Same goes for these two cup holders right here, or alternatively another smaller storage space right here itself. So yeah, if let's say those two space right here aren't enough, you could actually technically put in the door bin on either side, the front passenger or the driver side itself, which is quite big enough to put your stuff lah. So yeah, and that moving along, you got gear selector right here with the respective gear. And if you want to use the vehicle in sports mode or manual shifting, you can just shift it all the way down to drive and shift it to the right. Then you can just use the pedal shifter right here to shift the gears itself. If not, you could technically just use the gear selector to shift the gears itself lah. So yeah, moving along, you got the traditional start stop button right here to turn on, turn off the vehicle. You also got a 12 volt socket outlet right here if you want to charge your devices itself. Moving on top, you got your climate control. So climate control is very similar to the Golf itself, where basically the temperature controls on either side as well as the fan speed is adjusted via you can either touch on it like this, or just slide it up or slide it down to adjust the temperature itself. Same goes for the fan speed itself. So yeah, moving along, you got your rear defrost right here, front and rear defrost, your AC controls as well as the recirculation function right here, as well as the button to sync the temperature on both sides itself. Moving on top, you got your respective button. You got your stop start, your parking sensors, your park assist. So if you want to ask the vehicle park it for you, you could actually technically do that. The hazard light button and your various driving mode for the vehicle, which is if I press the button, you can see it's right here, and you can adjust it via the control. For the customer, you can just adjust it itself lah. and eco mode. Once done, you just leave it alone, then it will just go in this mode itself. Alternately, it will also be reflected at the top right here itself. Let me just show you guys that again. So basically, it will just show you guys that on top itself. So yeah, also, and if you're wondering, this is how the parking sensors looks like. Nothing much itself lah, but one weird thing is it will trigger the climate control to go full blast itself, which is very weird itself. So yeah, and for the auto climate, I think sorry, this is where you can adjust the directional airflow blowing at you itself. So yeah, that's that. Then menu, you can see there's more information right here itself. Alright, moving on top, we got the infotainment right here, which can be adjusted via the controls right here. So they got a sound button right here, and your frequency tuner right here with the various shortcut keys. So this vehicle actually does come with Android Auto or Apple CarPlay via Bluetooth, so you can connect it wirelessly if you want to. And if you want to know more about this car, you can actually just rent this vehicle via the stated description in the description box itself. So yeah, so I won't be going through too in depth about this vehicle infotainment itself, but it's very similar to the, I think I would say it's the closest thing is maybe similar to the Golf itself, which I might have touched on it in my Golf review itself, and maybe the same as the ID4 as well. So yeah, alright, moving along, the wheel is also same thing, which I won't be touching too much about it because it's the same wheel as the ID4 as well as the Golf itself lah. So I'll be skipping that itself. If you guys want to know more about it, you can check out my review for that. Alright, moving along, you got your headlight button, sorry, indicators right here, which are shown right at the top on the temperature, vehicle temp gauge, as well as the fuel gauge right there itself. So basically that's that itself. High beam, just need to pull back to flash your high beams, push forward to activate high beam itself, or one time for auto headlights, another time for high beam itself. Pull back one time, and that's that itself to cancel it out. Right here you got your wiper stock, so basically you adjust the frequency right here. To adjust the rear, just push forward, and you watch the rear. Then you got main wipers right at the front itself. So yeah, and one swipe down for one side of the wipers itself. So that's that. Alright, moving along, you got your light control switches right here if you want to turn on the vehicle's light. So you can just twist it either direction itself. So yeah. Moving along, you just got your 4 window switches right here, and this depends people from moving down the windows, and this to adjust the mirrors itself lah. So yeah, just twist it itself, then you can just twist it up, down, left, right itself, or hold it down another one more time down to fold in the mirrors itself. Alright, let me just show you guys this itself. So basically this is the new instrument gauge for the basically for Volkswagen in general itself lah. So to adjust this itself, you can do so by pressing this. So basically you'll just cycle through the menu right at the top. So you just cycle through, you can know more about that. Then if you want to change your instrument gauge itself, you can just press on view. Then it will just change, and you can see various information itself. So yeah, and let's say I'm in the driving data, I want to change, I can just press this down button, and it will just change accordingly itself. So yeah, and you also got your voice command for the infotainment, which I also won't be touching in depth about it itself. And that you got your sun visor right here, very nice mirror. The light you can turn on manually itself, or when the doors are open. Same goes for the other side. So this also can be swiveled to one side itself, just like that. So yeah, and that's about it. Alright, then before I end off the video, I forgot to show you guys the seat and how to adjust the steering wheel. To adjust the seat, basically there's this lever right here to adjust the height, so you can just pull on it or push down on it to adjust the height. Got your angle adjusting right here if you want to adjust the angle of your backrest. And to adjust the seat, there's this lever right here on the left hand side for the driver's seat, and the right hand side for the passenger seat itself. If you want to adjust your headrest, which is right here, just for the driver's side, there's this button, you can just press on that, and you can adjust the height of the headrest itself. So yeah, and that's about that for the vehicle itself. So if you guys enjoy the video, don't forget to subscribe button down right below to see more videos like this, or click subscribe, and if you see my 2 other videos. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video.